Hey, does it annoy you to see others get rich in crypto? If yes, it's natural to wish you could do the same, but probably looks too hard, you don't have the time, not to mention it's bloody boring. But if that's you, why not copy me? On my Copy My Crypto website, I share every crypto I own, which means you just copy me. Here's how Richard Carlo, who's made over 800 grand as a member, describes the site. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. I don't need to know a thing about crypto as I just copy James. I'm James McMahon, and I run the Crypto with James YouTube channel with over 65,000 subscribers. In mid-2020, my viewers watched me buy 26 cryptos. Had you put $100 into each one, it went on to be worth 123 grand. One of the cryptos, Phantom, went up 692 times in price and retired a number of people. Remember, this is public record. Go to YouTube and verify this yourself. So to join over 3,700 members who copy me, go to the link on screen. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but as one of David's viewers, you get full access for just $1. Guys, it's only a recommendation, but I suggest you go there now. The offer expires soon, and after that, I'm not an option.
And politics is certainly not the answer. It's not going to change anything. You put something out on X this week saying as much, didn't you?
Well, this is the thing about politics. As I said earlier, there have been people who have been basically trying to push me to promote Farage. And there's, of course, the whole kind of central core of the alternative media in America is all pro-Trump, pro-Trump, pro-Trump. It's not the job of alternative thinking to promote politicians. It's to call out the system which uses politicians as a front for those in the shadows to dictate the outcome and the direction of the world. And I watched a movie this week called Jones Plantation. And it was funded by Jeff Berwick, who we both know, he lives in Mexico.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to be around.
Yeah, and he funded this, and it's an outstanding movie because it shows how they do it. I won't give too much away because you can see it on Amazon Prime and it's also on DVD. But basically, it takes place in on a plantation with slaves, black slaves of the day. But they're worried about the black slaves starting to rebel and what will happen if they rebel. So they bring this guy in, who's also a black guy. They bring him in to make sure that the slaves won't rebel. And basically what he does, he manipulates them perceptually to believe that they're not slaves anymore and that they're actually in control. And there's a wonderful point where he gets two people. One of them is the owner of the plantation, and the other one's a guy they bring in. And they ask the black slaves, who they now call workers, you're not slaves anymore, you're workers. And they ask them to vote which of them they want to run the plantation. And the slaves think that, oh, wow, we've got some power here. We decided between him and him who runs the plantation. But actually, behind the scenes, they're both answering to this guy. And he's orchestrating the whole thing. They're mates. And so they give their presentation of what they do if they were voted in to run the plantation. It's a classic dissection of the political system. Yep. And the other thing they do, this guy who's orchestrating it does, is he introduces basically paper credits in the mode of money to pay them, which are absolutely bloody worthless. And the idea is to get them, as they say in the film, into as much debt as possible. So now you're workers, you're free, you're no longer slaves, but you just have to do what we say. And this is the classic way that you've got billions of people millions, hundreds of millions in some countries, who, if they ceased to cooperate with the system couldn't function.
No.
It couldn't control them. But what they do is they are kidded that they have power to decide their rulers, and yet basically the rulers competing for their vote are controlled by the same force to some extent or to a total extent. And the big parties, total extent. And so what they do is they say, okay, I have all this power. Collectively, we have all this power to make anything happen we want, and certainly to stop you being in control of us. But what we're going to do is we're going to hand our power to you. So if you look in this country, in this election on July the 4th, it looks like very much as we speak, that Keir Starmer is going to be the Prime Minister, and he's totally cult controlled, member of the Trilateral Commission. He will have, or at least the cult through him will have, but officially that guy, with his big majority in Parliament, so he can get through anything he wants, will have control to dictate the lives of 68 million people. When we have a election later this year in the United States, power will be handed to one man and a few key decision makers on Capitol Hill to dictate the lives of 342 million people. This is insane. Yeah. This is not democracy. And interestingly, I'm banned from nearly 30 European countries because I'm banned from the Netherlands. And they're in the Schengen group of countries, and therefore if you're banned from one, you're banned from them all. And they've just elected, as the biggest party, something called the Freedom Party, headed by Geert Wilders. And Geert Wilders was talking about being anti-immigration and all, you know, the culture of the Dutch and what have you. And he went into a coalition with other parties called Right Wing, including the Farmers' Party that emerged after the attacks on farming in the Netherlands, where they wanted to literally steal the bloody land that the farmers have been working on, through what we call in this country compulsory purchase, in effect. And so kind of the alternative media activists were all for Wilders. Yeah. And he is the biggest party, so he has the biggest say. And what's turned out with the Freedom Party of Wilders is the Dutch people are about to have a prime minister who is not only unelected, overseen his appointment by Wilders, but is a, quote, former head of Dutch intelligence, a career diplomat, bureaucrat, intelligence operative, and he's going to be the unelected prime minister. So you can see why, when I see how these things play out, that I'm never going to promote a politician, because you can hear what they say, but you can't see what they do until they have the power to do it. And one of the best known of the Dutch mainstream alternative media activists in the Netherlands is Eva Vlandingenbroek, and she was promoting Wilders. And this week she's posted something saying, I wish I'd never voted for him. Because not only is he putting this intelligence operative into the position of prime minister, But this whole idea of the great replacement with the mass influx of migrants, he's now dropping that phrase. He doesn't want that used anymore. Well, he wasn't saying that before he got elected. And you know, Eva is a classic. I'm sure she means well. But if you're not deep enough in the rabbit hole to see how it works, you're going to fall for the Wilders. You're going to fall for the Trumps. You're going to fall for the Musks and fall for the Millets because you don't understand the big picture, which puts them into real context. And so any alternative quote that promotes a politician is not alternative. Not in my view, anyway.
No, and how many times through history do you want to be proved that actually the ones you support turn out to let you down every single time? So why... You know, like you said earlier about listening to what somebody says and taking that in isolation, you could put out a video and say, what they've said there, great. If they act upon it, good news.
Yeah.
Without going in and going, we need to get this person elected. We need to get it.
Absolutely. But here's a short report on this guy, Dick Schoof, or Dick Spoof, as I call him, this intelligence guy who is going to be the Prime Minister of Holland, even though he's not elected. And the guy with the blonde hair, for people who don't know, that's Wilders.
A former spy chief was tipped as the new Prime Minister of the Netherlands. Former head of the Dutch spy agency and counter-terrorism office, Dick Schoof, was tipped to become the nation's new Prime Minister. The 67-year-old will lead a coalition dominated by Geert Wilders' radical right-wing Freedom Party. The coalition is also made up of the centre-right VVD, centrist New Social Contract, and the Farmer Citizen Movement.
Yeah, Wilders has definitely got the same hairdresser as Donald Trump. I think he's got very similar hair. But this Shreve guy, what's interesting is intelligence officers, you're never a former intelligence officer.
No.
You're always still in there because firstly, they would say you know quite a lot of stuff, so they would at least keep an eye on you. So the idea he still isn't connected.
Well, you know the plane that was shot down, the passenger plane that was shot down over Ukraine, and they blamed the Russians, right? Yeah. Well, if you remember, that was investigated by the Dutch.
It was, yeah.
Right? Spoof was the guy who oversaw the cover-up.
Right.
He's now Prime Minister of this country, and the last of the Netherlands, and the last Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, another cult to his DNA operative, he's been named as the next head of NATO. So you see how this all works. And if you don't see this level, you only see this level, you're never going to get it.
No, and there's so many levels above politics, so many levels, hence why governments change, but nothing else seems to actually change. It's always the power behind the scenes.
Exactly. I'm supposed to be a nutter.
He's got some squirrely ones. Alex Jones is way more reliable than David Icke.
You know, people have called you a loony. It's been written.
I've been researching this stuff for 20 years.
How can you research?
I've been to more than 40 countries doing it.
Which is funny, really, because why would they ban someone who is not with it, doesn't know what they're talking about? From nearly 30 European countries in the Schengen border group, why would they ban him from Australia? Why would he be banned from the mainstream media and even banned from a swathe of the alternative media? Why would that be? I'm crazy, right? Why would that be? The reveal, out on September the 1st.